pretty serious financial ramifications if people thought they were looking at a dead man, and I was really kind of concerned about that. So the very first race for the cure was right after I had surgery. I knew about it, I'd never been to it, and I was a runner, and I thought, wow, I'd love to do that. I wasn't even going to walk this thing. I was no shape to do that, whatever. So I know I'm going to lose the hair. And Dr. Berniker said, you know, it's going to go away. And I'm thinking, maybe it will, maybe it won't. My very first person that I told about this, because I know I'm going to lose the hair, I got to fess up. I got to tell people before it happens. Our longtime receptionist was a person, her name was Pam Derry. Pam Derry was from Deep East Texas, had a great accent. And her and I were pals because I'd talk to her on the way in and out of the office a lot of time. And I remember going over to Pam. I said, Pam, I've had a mastectomy. And she, thinking that I was getting a little bit personal, said, honey, you mean vasectomy. But I got to tell you, I had this big blousey shirt on. It's got this huge bandage underneath of it, and I got the drain ports, and I pulled my shirt up a little bit. Woo! Her eyes got huge as saucers. It was an amazing thing. Shortly thereafter, like 3, 4, 5 days later, somewhere in that range, I kind of forget exactly where, this bandage, for gosh, begins to separate from my chest. I was always thinking this bandage is a little bit big. I was expecting smaller stuff than what I ultimately ended up with. I wasn't listening. My wife listened, thankfully. So the bandage begins to separate, and I look down in this thing. I have 39 staples. It was unbelievable. I had enough metal in me to work at Whole Foods. I just fit right in there. It was so now it's hair time. I'm thinking, well, I'm a male. Maybe I'm an exception. Because there are exceptions. People don't lose their hair. Maybe I'm going to be one of those. I remember one Thursday, I got up real early in the morning. And I dried my hair, and I looked down in the towel. Oops, there's hair in this towel. This is really not good. And I always used to have this habit where I'd mess with my eyebrows. This is the time you got to put your hands in your pockets and don't touch your eyebrows. You're going to lose those soon enough. And then so what we decided to do, myself and the boys said, we're going to have a little fun with this. We might as well make the best of this possible. So there we go. We mohawk this thing. We have a great time with this. Check this. We painted one side red and the other side green, and we had Christmas photos. I got to tell you, there were some interesting moments here, but we really chose not to burden each other with our fears and doubts. It's kind of that real simple thing. If you smile at people, they tend to smile back. If you frown, they'll frown back. If you cry, they'll cry. Many did ask the question, why? Why you? How did this happen to you? What's the meaning of this? Really kind of look through that. I never asked myself that question. I clearly never answered to them. I didn't have an answer. I just moved on. But I can tell you that mortality really didn't cross my mind except for a couple of times. I remember needing new shirts. I held off for a while. Then I later bought those shirts. But one of the biggest challenges is not to be a hypochondriac. By the way, this is a happier moment at Christmas. Wow, look at these kids. It's not to be as a hypochondriac because you want every little tick. You're thinking, wow, this is not good. You know, it pertains to that cancer. You're going to get used to that. I remember there was a lady that I met waiting for chemo one day. And she was great. She was bad, though. She had a little baseball cap on, no hair, and she had long sleeves with the tubes hanging out of them. Great guy. I honest to God don't know whether she was 37 or 57. And we were talking about her experience, and she said, I really get tired of talking about this to family and friends. I said, yeah, I get that. And she pulls out of her pocket a little card about the size of a playing card. I mean, it had printed on it, this is my current condition. Please, can we talk about